So hi guys, today I'm going to talk about some of the new features in XDP. First, I'm going to talk about the new user interface here, and the first thing you'll see that we have this drag and drop area has been moved and is now stationary on the top here. So basically what that means is that as I scroll, that area here is still or is always visible, so you can just drag your decal materials at any point without needing to scroll up and down to find the slot here, the area. I also have this go to materials, so if you're down here somewhere and you want to go up and change something in the materials, you can just go to materials and then it takes you all the way to the top. I've also used a collapsible preset tools to display the save as and all these buttons here that have to do with the saving and changing of the folder structure, etc., so that doesn't clutter the UI. I've also included now a sort of this line underneath that shows you how many materials are in the material slots. This is a quick way to see what's happening. So if you're up here, you will know immediately how many decal materials are in the material slots. And you also now have the ability to randomize those visible materials here, and the reset visible, of course, will take you back to the default values. Now, I'm just going to show you what that randomize visible means. Let's just drag these decals into the slots here, and you'll see that now we have these three decals here in the material slots. And I've also, if you noticed, moved the enable disable button and the weights of that material outside of the collapsible parameter section here, so it's easier to access and to view at all times. So again, if I scroll down, you'll see that we still have the ability to have a quick glance of what's happening. We've got three material slots inside the XDP, and we also have the ability to randomize visible. So randomize visible is basically a way to randomize the weights of the visible tags. Now I'm going to tell you exactly what visible tags are in just a sec, but here if I click on randomize visible, you'll see that the weight structure changes, and if I go to reset visible, you'll see that they go back to 1. Now the visible is this new feature that I've added, which is the display by tags. What this does, it allows you to filter the material or the decal materials based off the tags here. So here, if I open one of the materials, I'm going to add a tag here. Here, I'll just press this plus and just say this is arrow and enter. And let's do the same for this guy as well. And this guy as well. So here, if I come to the display by tags, you'll see that by default it says show all, but I have the ability now to display based off those tags. So if I come here and click on arrow, you'll see that I only have just that arrow showing. So you can have multiple tags here showing. So if I go arrow and gray, you'll see that I just have those two decals showing. So what this randomized visible means is that it's just randomizing what material decals are visible in this using this display by tag. So if I come and click on that randomize visible, you'll see that I'm just randomizing those two decals. Now you have the limit placement to visible. This is a toggle, meaning that basically as I paint, and you'll see that I will hopefully get some arrows because our let's just turn this back to default so we can see some more arrows. So you'll see that I'm only painting arrows and gray X's, and this is what this little toggle does, which says it limits the placement to only what is visible. If I turn this off, then I will be able to also paint some of the white X's as well. And this just acts more as a display rather than also a placement filtering system. So, but this is on by default. So just so you know. So that's how all this new UI works. The material tag filters has also been placed here. It was at some point down here below, but I placed it right next to the material. So now you can also use the material tag filters in conjunction with the display by tags. And this is where you access it as well. So that's how that section works. I'm just going to clear this quickly so I can show you some of the other new features. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is that now in the path layout and region fills, we have a live preview. So if I just click and drag, and if I come here to, for example, the spacing, you'll see that everything happens in real time. So let's just get something in here. Let's just change maybe the jitter so you can see what's happening. So everything is happening in real time now. If I press the escape button, then that goes away. And if I re-click the path, then I get this again, real-time preview of what's happening. So here we have also the drag draw. I think I've talked about that before, but here it is. You just click, you drag your spline, and everything, all the decals follow that spline. The other nice thing that has been added is this. Let me just come here. Actually, let's turn that back on. So let's keep that with a straight line here. So we have these. Actually, this will show better if we turn off the and leave the gray. Again, let's come down here. And if I use, for example, the path lane to 2, and let's increase the spacing, you'll see that we get decals on both sides of this path that has 2 lanes. But if I wanted these arrows to be facing opposite each other, now you have this flip facing on negative lanes. So if I do that, you'll see that we get this flipping on one of the 2 lanes. So that's a cool feature to have so that they don't point all in the same direction. Region fill works in a similar way. You have the ability to, let me turn this off. Where am I? So here in the region fill. So if I press C, you'll see, and again, if I come here, you can again add your decals, and you'll see that everything changes in real time. So again, lots of things to change here. I'm not going to go through all of these, of course, because these are features that have been around since the beginning, but you can see what has changed in the sense of this real-time preview. Again, you can press the commit to commit to those 28 decals, or just escape to redraw that region. So that's how this new preview works for both region fill and for path layout. There's also now some new features in mesh edge decals. So one of the features that I've added is, so if I come here and let's just go into chain, and I'll click on that. So what happens now is that we have this decals that are being spread across this edge. Now I'm going to turn this back off, and let's do it again, and you'll see that we have this nice sort of edge that is being shown here. Let me just quickly come in here and change the instance so we can better view what's happening. So actually, you know, I'm going to go into the material here, into the base, and I think if I can connect it here, we should be able to see something. Yeah, so this is a quick preview of what's happening. So what I wanted to show you is that now we have this apply to similar. So basically what that does is that, so for example, if I created sort of this edge decal and I wanted to do the same for all these instances in my scene, you don't have to come here and select each one and click and create that edge mesh decal for every single instance. All you have to do is just come here and just click apply to similar, and then all these instances would have the mesh edge mesh decal applied to them as well. So this is really handy if you are working with a scene that has a lot of instances and you want to create the edge mesh decals on all of them. You also have this now in previous versions, this override mesh decal material. In previous versions, I had this work automatically. So basically, when you had material decals here up in the material slots, they would override the mesh edge decals. And to me, that was not the right way to work, because I was at some point thinking that you may be working both on edge mesh decals and decals at the same time. So you would need the flexibility to turn that on and off at will. So here I've added the override mesh decals if you so wanted to. So if I do that, you'll see that, and I come here, you'll see that we get the materials that have been assigned here in the material slots by using this toggle. But you can also come here and say override by tags. So if I come here to override by tags, then I can, for example, just use, for example, the arrow, in which case only the arrows will be used in the edge mesh decals. And the other thing I want to show you is this preserved material UV size. So I'm going to turn these guys off, and I'm going to come here and we can just use the default material here. And I'm going to also turn on perhaps the visualizer so we can better see what's happening. And let's also turn these guys, and let's also get some more repetitions in here. So you can see that we have this X. Now, if I come here to the uniform scale and I scale this down, you'll see that I also am stretching the material itself. So what this does, this preserved material UV size toggle, when I turn it on, you'll see that as I am turning down the uniform scale, I am basically clipping the mesh itself rather than the material. So if you wanted to optimize those mesh decals and don't want to have any extra transparency for Unreal to read, this is what you would do. You would turn on the preserved material UV size and then adjust the uniform scale so that it fits exactly what you want. And you can of course adjust the repetitions and everything in the material itself, and of course through the repeat world length here. So that's what I wanted to show you today. If you want to keep in touch and see what's new with XDP or any of the other products, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one, guys. Bye.